Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and today we're going to be taking a look at what is potentially the rarest of the protector masks from Generation 2 Bionicle. And I say that because it's not actually from Generation 2 Bionicle. This is a bootleg mask that I got quite a while ago in a bootleg set that I bought specifically for the mask, but it does come with some other really cool pieces, so I will talk about that at the end of the video. But the mask itself is really nice because it actually comes in two colors here, dual molded, and both of those colors are unique to that mask, so it feels very much like a new character. So the color scheme here is actually transparent neon orange. It's a really good match for Lego's trans neon orange as well, just a little less fluorescent, but otherwise in terms of the color, basically indistinguishable. Really good. This one will probably look a little more orange on camera, though, for the fluorescent reason, as mentioned before. But also silver on the front here. And now, this does match Lego's orange really well. The silver is very slightly lighter. I don't think that's a big deal, only because when it's actually on a character, you really can't tell. But it is nice to know, of course, and, results may vary. One of my friends has this as well. Actually, a few of them, a few of my friends have these, and as far as I know, theirs haven't differentiated that much in terms of silver. So, again, mileage may vary. So what makes this mask really interesting is, even though it is kind of its own color scheme, there are a few other instances of details on the mask itself that are unique. And so let me go ahead and just kind of show you. Actually, I'll use one that's a little bit easier to see. With this mask, for example, and I actually just noticed this today. I'm going to use a little pointer here. But this area here, this little chink out of the mask, this notch here, is deeper on the official masks versus the bootleg, which is something I hadn't noticed, as I mentioned before. So it goes down quite a bit further than this one. But it's subtle. It's so subtle that, like I said, I've had this mask for probably about a year now. And yeah, only just noticed it. So kind of interesting. Aside from that, there is one detail that I did notice right away, and I think that's really cool. Only noticed it because this is stuff that I look for. I am very particular about my details. I don't know why, but I find this one really charming, is the little chevron shapes on the head here, and this little like home base shape at the top, this pentagon at the top, are about equal sized, whereas on the official version, and it's a little bit easier to see here, the home base, if you want to call it that, is larger than the chevron shapes that are on the mask here. So I just find that as an interesting little thing. One other thing you may not have noticed about this mask as well, and this applies to all of them, including the bootleg, this is something that Lego did, and I find quite interesting, is that these masks, I believe, were the first mask to have come out in Bionicle that had a transparent top blended with a solid, or, well, transparent blended with solid in general, as far as I know. And so I think it's really cool because Lego paid attention to a little bit of detail. Knowing that you'd be able to see through the top here, they actually faceted the inside. And you can actually see it here around this area. You can see some little lines kind of showing up, and you'll see it again also if I flip the mask over. Yeah, right in there, in that area on these little fins. It's all faceted, and I just think that that's super cool. Obviously, Lego knew that the light was going to shine through those areas, so having that little extra bit of texture inside the mask without actually adding real texture to it is just something so, I don't know, there's something so unique about that I like quite a lot. So, as you guys are aware, and you were probably aware when this mask first came out, it is very clearly inspired by the Arthron, the mask from Jalar Mari. Or, I say clearly inspired because I think it's pretty obvious. You've got the same, crab carapace shape, and I say that because the Hana crab came in this set, on the Arthron, as you have at the very top of it. Here you even have the holes that are in series with each other. And so I always think it's super cool because it feels kind of like a noble version of that mask. It's just a neat little extra thing. Lego very clearly could have come up with their own completely unique design for this mask, and I am kind of happy that it ended up being something familiar, so yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this video. Of course, I do have a couple other things I want to go ahead and show you to make this video worthwhile. One of them is a piece that you guys might be familiar with. So this is actually a hilt piece that came on the CCBS Kylo Ren Star Wars set. And it's made to attach lightsaber minifigure bars to the side and then a full-size CCBS lightsaber to the top. But this is a really nice piece because you can actually use this piece to attach masks. Any Generation 2 mask will connect to these, and of course it means you can put them on an axle, but not only that, there's enough friction in there to hold the mask up. You know, and even in some cases where when you shake the mask, it will hold the mask in place as well. So that's super cool. Something very, very useful. I've used it quite a lot. I figured it out because I was building like a fish rahi some time ago, and yeah, it just works. But aside from that, I guess I will show you one more thing in this video, again, to make it all worthwhile. This is my Generation 2 Pakawi. So you can call it a Kiwi, you can call it a Kickapoo, if you're into that whole Generation 3 thing. But yeah, what I think is really neat about this is, of course, the color scheme. I wanted to replicate the color scheme from the original Pakawi that came out in Generation 1 Bionicle, but even more interesting is the way that the mask attaches, because the actual Mask of Jungle here locks into this shell piece. And you can try this for yourself. I actually almost just pulled both pieces up when I did that. But yeah, so taking any old Mask of Jungle and just sliding this piece on here, there's some point of friction that just kind of clicks and it holds the piece in. I don't know why. Obviously, LEGO didn't design it to do this, but it just happens to work like perfect, and it's so good. That's actually how I designed this. I was just messing around with parts, noticed that those two that mask and that shell piece went together, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I noticed that the only piece that I have that shell in, or the only color I have that shell in, is red also, and since Liwa's mask was green, immediately I thought of the Pakawi. And so, yeah, I turned that into the build for the Pakawi. I'm trying to get the mask back on here, and I'm having trouble now. Not the mask itself. I'm having trouble with the connection on the body. But, yeah, it works out super well, and I'm super happy with it. And it's just, I don't know, it's such an interesting way to attach a head to a torso that's relatively small for a small rahi, beast, animal, whatever you want to call it. Creature, I guess. And yeah, it just kind of works. So the mask is also held onto a second piece as well on the inside there, so it's not going to fall off or anything. But yeah, just figured I'd mention that. So yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, as it helps the channel out quite a lot. Of course, if you guys want to find out any more information, I will leave my links in the description below so you can check those out. And lastly, I said I'd mention this. The set I actually bought this from was on Aliexpress, as I mentioned probably about a year ago. I don't know the exact time frame. So I've had it for quite a while now. So I will try and find a link for it. I know that they run usually about $10 to $15 US. So not terribly expensive, and that's usually with shipping included, so that helps. And there are a decent number of pieces in the set that are desirable. There's some gunmetal gray shell pieces that are like a perfect match for Legos, which are really nice. There's a printed torso armor and a printed chest piece, chest add-on, whatever you want to call it, that are both really high quality. I like those quite a lot. I think there's some other recolored shells and stuff in the set too, but most notably this mask here. You also get, of course, a actually, hold on, I think I have him somewhere. Yeah. Reachable. Yeah. Aside from that, this shell here in red and in silver, you get 4 of them in silver, you get 1 in red. This torso piece is printed, which is really nice, and I'm using the chest piece elsewhere. But yeah, and then of course all of the shells are in that slightly lighter silver, so that is a usable color at least, because you get several different shell shapes in that color. The feet, the fists, the head are all that kind of slightly lighter silver color, so all really good stuff. The only thing that is unfortunate is that the eyes are just the standard blue and not some unique color, because the instructions, I think, say they're red. So yep, that's basically it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.